History doesn't reward people who avoid failure or rejection or even humiliation, even public humiliation. It actually rewards those who survive through it, those who actually grow through it. Because the greatest victory of all isn't only what you necessarily overcome, which is great in itself, but even greater is who you become in the process. So if you think your situation, your current situation, yes you, if you think it means it's over because you have failed, you've lost, you've been criticised, you've ever been humiliated, well, history says the absolute opposite. Coca-Cola in the first 12 months, Coca-Cola sold 9 bottles. 9. Let me repeat. 9 bottles, not 9,000, 9 bottles in 12 months. Now think about that. Coca-Cola. Henry Ford. That's another great story. Henry Ford was bankrupt twice. Investors walked away. They humiliated him. They backstabbed him. Companies collapsed. He went on to create the Ford Motor Company. Research the Ford Motor Company. Who's another one? Walt Disney. He was fired. He was fired from a newspaper. And when he was fired, what they said was he lacked imagination and he lacked original thoughts or ideas. He had none, they said. J.K. Rowling is one of my favorites. I mean, this is a single mother living off a government welfare system, and she had less than 10 British pounds in her bank account, and she was writing Harry Potter in cafes and stores because she couldn't afford the heating. And her Harry Potter book, her manuscript, it was rejected like 12 times, 12, 13, 14 times. Who's another one? Michael Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan, he was actually cut from his high school basketball team, and he was told, Michael Jordan, from his high school basketball team coach, that he wasn't good enough. Colonel Sanders, he's another one. He was 65 years old. He was broke. He was living off $105 a month on Social Security when he actually pitched KFC. And here's the amazing part. He was rejected over 1,000 times. 1,000 times plus before one restaurant said yes. And that's KFC. Abraham Lincoln is another one that I hear. He lost every election. In fact, he failed in business, suffered severe depression, was publicly humiliated, kept on losing election after election before he became President of the United States of America during the Civil War. In fact, his first election victory ever was when he became president. Another favorite leader of mine, Nelson Mandela, when he spent 27 years in jail. Not months, not years, decades. And he walked away. When he walked away without bitterness. He walked away without revenge. And he became president. And one of the greatest moral leaders in history. Now, did you notice the pattern. All of these figures saw obstacles as opportunities, as learning pathways, as growth mindset pathways. Failure wasn't a setback, it was feedback. Rejection wasn't personal, it was just data where they can learn and keep going. So they didn't just experience and endure the hardship. They went through it because they had to learn from it. So they reflected, they adjusted, they went again. They reflected, they adjusted, they went again. So they started to iterate. They iterated through the reflection process and trying again, adjusting, reflecting, trying again, almost like a game. In fact, exactly like a game, because each setback meant leveling up, not stopping. It became an obsession. And purpose gave struggle meaning. And meaning gave struggle fuel. And this is the deep learning mindset. Not memorizing knowledge, but living it, applying it, reflecting on it, and then returning stronger after you've adjusted. Reflecting, adjusting, reflecting, adjusting. None of these figures, none of them were early successes. None of them were protected. None of them were validated at the beginning. In fact, they were humiliated and laughed at. Because most people walk away not because they aren't capable, because no one taught them. No one ever taught them and showed them how to learn from this type of pressure. Learning how to learn deeply is, without question of a doubt, especially in this AI era, the skill set of the century. And every single one of them, past and present, walked this exact deep learning pathway. So creating a product, any product, anything that you do, can fail. An idea, any idea, can be rejected. A year, a season can look hopeless and bad and wasted. But for deep learners, pressure doesn't ever destroy self-identity. It enhances it and develops it and grows it and strengthens it and refines it. And self-identity under pressure is what actually compounds knowledge and skill and confidence and resilience and attention and, of course, values and character. And so if you have failed and tried and failed and tried and tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed and failed and tried, that is fantastic. That is great. Because that normally and usually means that your story, the real story, is just beginning. And a product, any product, can be copied. Any idea can be copied. But the person behind the product, the person behind the idea, can never, ever, ever be copied. And that is the power of a deep learning growth mindset.